Good evening, Toastmasters. I'd like to start by asking a quick question. How many of you trust the people you live with? Oh, let me just get you on my screen here. Nigel, you trust people you live with? That's really nice. I actually can't recall a time when my family really trusted me. Tonight, I'm going to tell you 3 stories. Am I on center of my camera? There we go. Okay. I'm going to tell you 3 stories. One involves a dark basement. One involves honey in a place that honey should never be. One involves a plate of spaghetti and some serious concern. Individually, they sound questionable. Together, they explain why my family doesn't trust me. Tomorrow is April 1st, and while some people tell jokes, I create experiences. I know, you're not even surprised. Let's start off in the basement. When my daughter was a teenager, her room and her bathroom were in the basement. Late one night, in the quiet, dark basement, I crept downstairs. I made myself as big as I could, stood on my tiptoes, and stood like this in the frame of the bathroom door. And I waited very patiently. She wasn't shampooing her hair, but she was getting ready for bed. So when she finally opened the door, I went, "Ah!" And she just about crapped herself. She said that I was lucky she didn't punch me in the face. It was awesome. Now let's add some honey to the mix. When I was a teenager, I had a few friends sleep over when my parents were away one weekend. I thought it would be funny to put some honey on the toilet seat, right? Somebody would sit down, be a little sticky, clean, innocent fun. So unfortunately, none of my friends fell for it. I proceeded to forget about the whole thing for the rest of the weekend. So then my parents got home. After a long flight from Alberta to Ontario, all my dad wanted to do was sit down. So the sitting down part was easy. It was the getting up part that created the problem. I believe that was my dad's one and only leg waxing experience. Now for the worms. This is my absolute favorite prank, and it actually was an April Fool's joke. My in-laws were coming for supper on April 1st, and I was feeling particularly cheeky. My daughter and I hatched a plan. We cooked some spaghetti in a big pot till it was fat and mushy. We made sure to add a bunch of different food coloring so that the spaghetti looked gray and disgusting. Then we broke it into short little pieces and piled them on top of a plate. And then we put that plate high up on the shelf in the cupboard on the very top. So when my in-laws arrived, we put our plan into motion. I started to play into it. I asked my mother-in-law if she'd ever had any long gray worms in her kitchen cupboard. We went on to describe that there were quite a few of them that we'd seen over the last few days in the cupboards, and we couldn't figure out what they were. So I kept describing them, and she was puzzled. She couldn't help me. She had no idea what they could be. So then we just let it rest for a couple of minutes. When she asked if she could help with anything, I asked if she could please set the table. Now you have to understand, my mother-in-law is possibly as tall as 4'10". There was no way she was seeing in the cupboard. So she grabbed 6 plates off the top, got to about here and and she just dropped them all on the cupboard. We were so surprised that none of the plates broke as they flew from her hands and landed on the counter. Fortunately, no one had a heart attack either. It was fantastic. So tonight we've covered a basement, some honey, and a very suspicious plate of spaghetti. And while these may seem like simple practical jokes, they've had a lasting impact. My daughter is more alert and possibly has some anxiety issues in the dark. My dad became more cautious and looked before he sat down. And my mother-in-law is significantly more observant. And me, I've learned absolutely nothing because tomorrow is April 1st and I have a reputation to maintain. Back to you, Toastmaster.